There's a lot of gray in nutrition because so much of it is individualized. So I do want to underline the point that for some people, those medications help them have a higher quality of life. But then there's other groups of people that it's more leads to disordered eating, right? We maybe have some disordered eating, some eating disorder tendencies there.
I mean, how do you get off the medication?
That we need to talk out.
Like, are people just on it forever?
Well, that's the intent. You would have to stay on it to keep the weight loss off.
Okay.
So working with a dietitian, also a counselor, to kind of talk through some of the psychology things behind it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of At Home with Emily, a podcast about creating a life you love. I'm so excited that we have Hilary Roberts back with us today because we've gotten your questions and we're going to answer as many of them as we can. Hilary is a dietitian and works at Missouri State University. And I think you provide such a balanced approach when it comes to this advice. And most importantly, you're not my friend standing around the coffee pot at work. Like, you actually have the knowledge and the credentials to offer sage advice. So thank you for coming back on.
Of course. Happy to be here.
We are grateful for it. Okay, so you ready for it?
Yep. Let's see what we got.
I've got a list that have come in, and some of them are some hot topics right now. I actually met someone the other day that had recently started on Ozempic. And that's not the only one. There's several. Is it a weight loss drug?
Inhibitors.
Yeah. Is that mainly? That's the right term for it?
Yes. GLP-1 inhibitors. So they've been around for a while, and they're used to help with diabetes. And so those GLP, like Ozempic, help people with diabetes and can help them manage and control their diabetes. But now...
And that was the original intent.
And that was the original intent for them.
The formulation and the research behind it.
Correct.
That was the point.
Yep. But then we found they help with weight loss, and they can help people lose weight.
And people really want to lose weight.
Really want to lose weight. Because as we were mentioning on the last episode, because that's what society tells us, is that you need to lose weight to be valued. You need to lose weight to be seen, And I'm going to flip that to show that all shapes and sizes are valuable, right? We're human beings, so thus we're worthy of getting good health care, quality health care, of being seen as a human being. But we have, again, these external motivators. And so, yes, there's a group of people who are taking Ozempic and the other GLP-1 inhibitors to lose weight. And we're finding that they are losing a lot of muscle. As a side effect of that, losing a lot of muscle. Long term, we'll yet to see long term some of the negative side effects, right? Some of these unintended consequences behind the weight loss. But I would ask those who are on it to start to thinking about what your reasoning is behind taking it. Thinking about more the internal, some of like these intuitive eating measures. If you go back to intuitive eating, is it helping my energy levels? How is it affecting my sleep? And my overall quality of life there?
Yeah. Well, it's hard for me to relate to because my mom's the same way. All her sisters, they're like tall and slim. It's like our DNA. Now I do have a healthy lifestyle too, but I haven't ever faced that struggle. However, I've worked in gyms and I've been around people struggling where they really do struggle with wanting to lose weight, and maybe they really do need to lose weight. And so I think that's a hard mental thing. So where would you start with that? Would you start with a dietitian first?
Starting with a dietitian and your primary care provider, right, who can give you that referral. But working with a dietitian, we're going to help you one-on-one to really think about food choices, think about drinks, start to measure how it affects energy levels, sleep, those sort of items. Yeah, so starting there can work very well.
But you're concerned with what you're seeing with how many scripts are being written for this type of medication?
Yes, and doing it just for the sake of losing weight, to try to, for whatever those reasons are. Maybe it's like, I think I'm going to be happier if I lose weight. Yeah. But for some, like, I don't want to ever say, because there's so much gray in nutrition. There's a lot of gray in nutrition. because so much of it is individualized. So I do want to underline the point that for some people, those medications help them have a higher quality of life. But then there's other groups of people that it's more leads to disordered eating, right? We maybe have some disordered eating, some eating disorder tendencies there.
I mean, how do you get off the medication?
That we need to talk out.
Like, are people just on it forever?
Well, that's the intent. You would have to stay on it to keep the weight loss off.
Okay.
So working with a dietitian, also a counselor,
Yeah.
to kind of talk through some of the psychology things behind it.
Next question we got in, are there any good apps for counting calories?
Calorie counting. Okay. Well, so MyFitnessPal is used by a lot of people. Noom is more of a newer app, used by a lot. So I'm not a huge advocate of calorie counting.
Okay.
Because I think it leads to guilt. It can lead people to feeling guilty if they overeat too many calories.
I was going to say, if you go off the path,
Yes.
then you failed.
Exactly. You failed.
And what's the path even? The path is something that we just randomly set as somebody set somewhere to sell a book or
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
who knows?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of money, right? A lot of money in all the weight loss items. So I think those apps can be beneficial for all of us to understand what's in our food. Like
Kind of like as a journal of this is what I'm eating.
A journal and understanding, this is where carbs are found. Oh, banana has carbs. Potatoes have carbs.
Apple has carb. Yogurt
Yes,
has
they
carbs.
actually don't have fat. They have carbohydrates, and which are positive for us and fuel our body. Those are all healthy plant-based foods, right? Have one ingredient on the label, right? Those are healthy foods, and so it can help you to see what's in the food you're eating. But I don't encourage people to do it long term because it can lead to disordered eating. It becomes one of those things that in your day-to-day life, that's all you're thinking about. What am I eating? And then I let that dictate my mood for the day. If I failed or passed whatever I set for myself that I need to follow.
Yeah.
Versus
So it's
going
not
back to
it's not an
enjoying food.
end all be all
Correct.
for
Yeah.
We got a question in about energy drinks. Do you feel like energy drinks are an okay way to start the day? Are they safe? What's your take on those?
Sure. So some energy drinks are high in added sugars. Others don't have the added sugars. It's interesting. I grew up in a non-energy drink era, right? We didn't have all the energy drinks. While
Like
now
coffee.
it's coffee. I do coffee, but now very, very popular. But we're trying to limit your added sugars throughout the day. Recommended not to go over 2 cups a day in those added sugars. That'd be 16 ounces. So limiting those energy drinks to 16 ounces or less would be the recommendation.
But what about the amount of caffeine that's in those? I mean, it can affect your heart, can't it?
It can affect your heart, and it varies greatly. The amount of caffeine in some of those energy drinks, it can vary pretty drastically. So just kind of take note. Read the label, take note of what's in it. A cup of coffee has around 100 milligrams of caffeine. Take a can of soda, typically has around 50 milligrams. And your energy drinks span all of that. And it goes even higher than 100. So take a look at of the caffeine in the energy drinks you're drinking, and then note how it makes you feel. Is it increasing your blood pressure? Because if so, we need to find one that has lower caffeine.
Well, that was the thing in college, right? Was like, okay, well, we have to stay up and get these papers done that we waited until today to write. And so the caffeine. And I actually had a roommate that told me, Emily, I have found the same effect from just drinking water. And I thought she was crazy. I'm like, drinking water? But it was really just the act of drinking something. And I did it. I replaced the soda with water. And I didn't see a big shift.
A big shift for you? Sure. You don't have the highs and the lows, right? You don't have that caffeine high and then that low and the sugar.
I'm a big water person.
And the sugar that comes in.
I mean,
the soda and the energy drinks.
You talk about that too. Like there's so much hidden in what we're drinking that we don't even think about.
Yes. Yep. And
there's it's talking about calories and talking about the sugar and all of that. I got it on that one. We have a question about Diet Coke. You hear so much about diet soda. Yeah. There's this theory, and I don't know where the theories even come from, but there's a theory of Diet Coke makes you hungrier because it gives you an artificial sugar, and then There's other people that swear by it, and that's part of their new diet, and they've become healthy because they've switched to diet. What is the deal with the diet?
So diet soda can work. All right, if diet soda
Okay.
if you feel good drinking diet soda, it can work into your day. So all your regular soda and your diet soda, it's going to seem like a lot, but all your energy drinks, again, trying to limit those to no more than 2 cups a day.
No matter what it is.
Yep, no matter what it is. So the Diet Coke, the diet soda, the regular soda, the energy drinks that has the caffeine, whether it's artificial sweeteners or just added sugar, limiting that to no more than 16 ounces a day.
You're blowing people's minds right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
and figuring
think
out how
about the
that out.
size of these drinks that we can get now.
I know.
And it's no extra cost, by the way, like at McDonald's if you roll through.
Yeah, you can get
I mean-
large very cheap.
Yeah.
$1. So
Yeah.
so Route 44s at Sonic,
Yeah.
very cheap.
But 44, it means 44
40,
ounces.
that means 44 ounces, not 16.
Not 16.
But if that's where you're at, so if you're currently drinking Route 44 a day, or even 2 of those a day, then decreasing it down to just 1 a day, and then trying to go to just a large and medium, and see the differences that you feel.
So the other side of all these drinks, though, is we do develop a dependency, don't we, on caffeine? I mean, it is...
Headaches, caffeine
I had
withdrawals.
a doctor one time tell me it's the only legal drug, or he said something like to that effect, right, with caffeine. So if you're trying to limit it, that can be hard.
Don't go like cold turkey all or
Don't
nothing.
go cold turkey. Okay.
Because you're gonna have you're gonna have headaches. You're
Uh-huh.
gonna have low energy. You're gonna have those withdrawals, and it's gonna last a few days.
So you would taper.
Yeah, definitely taper. Yeah, just do some small changes and slowly taper it down. And the 2 cups a day, you want to do 120 ounce. It's a little bit more, right? A 20 ounce bottle, but to figure out what makes you feel best, and give it some time, and be patient in the process, and be patient with yourself, and give yourself grace. I also follow like progress, not perfection. We're not striving to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We're striving to progress and feel better than we were feeling.
Yeah.
To learning more about health and nutrition and what it means to you versus
Mm-hmm.
what society tells you that
How
it should
much
mean.
water do we need?
So, I mean, your average of 8 cups a day is about right. It's going to depend upon your body weight and your body size. If you get to the point that you actually feel thirsty, you've waited too long to drink water, which can decrease your energy levels, can make you tired when you are dehydrated.
Okay, we got a fair number of questions in about keto, people that are thinking about starting that with the new year. What is keto, and what are your thoughts on it as a professional?
Yeah, keto is a high protein, low carb diet, very low carbohydrate diet. So that's where you're seeing all those keto friendly grains, right?
Yeah.
that don't have grains in them, right? We're
Okay.
finding ways to put protein in it, and it's where your body then is not using carbohydrates as its primary fuel. So carbohydrates provides glucose energy for your brain, and when you don't have those carbs, your body makes ketones as a byproduct of fat metabolism. So it uses ketones, and your body's running off of those. The problem with when you put your body in a state of
sounds wild.
ketosis is your body runs slower. Like
Okay.
it doesn't, your brain is not as fast and as functioning when you're using ketones
Okay.
instead of glucose or sugar, or glucose type of sugar to run off of. Now, similar to, say, Ozempic, for a subgroup of the population, the keto diet can help them manage chronic disease. Right? Then when we're looking at just losing weight, the keto diet, you got to be careful with being in a state of ketosis. So I think you would need to be under a physician's orders, be monitored closely, and again, look at your energy levels and be aware of being low in fiber, because some of those fiber and those B vitamins are what you could be lacking in.
But is there any real harm to it from your perspective?
Sure, digestive issues would be one of the harms to it, with not getting enough fiber in your diet with digestion. And then also just your mental acuity and how you're thinking. Like cognitive fog has been known to develop in a state of ketosis as well. So just have to really monitor yourself closely with those
So
items.
there are some risk there
Yes.
that you see. Yeah. Okay. One question that we got in from another viewer, he said, what about for a man over age 50? I'd like to lose weight, but not lose muscle mass.
Sure.
I mean, it does change when every new decade that we hit,
Yeah,
right?
yes, that's right. And if you go on a low-calorie diet, you are going to lose muscle mass. That's what
That's the
you're
first thing to
losing
go.
weight fast. You're going to lose muscle and fat. And look at the Ozempic. You're going to lose muscle mass with that as well because it's losing it very quickly. So looking at losing weight slower, no one wants to hear that. Slow is boring. Right? Diets are exciting,
Yeah.
but slow is boring, but it's sustainable and it works. So making these small changes, you don't majority of American men get enough protein. It tends to be the treats, the carbs, the sugar, the alcohol.
All right. Well, we're about to be running out of time. So I think you've done a good job answering a lot of the questions because a lot of the ones that we got were kind of in the same vein here. If nothing else, what should we take with us from this podcast to help us get going in the new year with healthier eating?
You bet. I think focus on progress, not perfection, with food and with your journey, your health journey. Look at adding more plants and plant foods to your diet. Plant foods to what you eat. Yeah, plant-based foods. Look at trying to eat less added sugars. Add more fiber.
And that's a tricky one. Sugar's in everything.
It's in a lot. So it doesn't mean no added sugar, but just try to decrease some of those added sugars. Choose more foods with that less than 10 grams of added sugars. And be patient with yourself in that process.
And I feel like, too, don't be afraid to cook.
Don't be afraid to cook. You can do it.
You know, I mean, you hear people say, like, I can't
do
cook.
it.
Honestly, not everything I cook is good. But, you know, I feel like we're still ahead of the curve by trying to do quite a bit of cooking at home.
Yeah, and don't be afraid. Frozen food, canned foods, those work. Those work very well, especially when you look at frozen vegetables and canned vegetables and fruit. They work very well in a pinch, right? When you're trying to get dinner on the table quickly, make some rice, rotisserie chickens. Those are great to have on hand. So just have a rotisserie chicken. You have some chicken, your whole grain, and a fruit or veggie.
And smoothies at home, I think, are a quick way, too, when you're talking about a
great way
the
to get
frozen fruits and all of that. And as far as the kids are concerned, it's a milkshake.
It's a milkshake.
You know?
Add some high protein yogurt to it. You want to get that protein, and you'll feel good. Yes, you add that fiber with the protein, and like I said, just be patient with yourself in that process of navigating health. It's not going to come fast, but you learn little tips, slowly throughout life, and you'll in the end hopefully feel better.
And don't be afraid to reach out if you need someone to help you get started.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Hilary.
You're welcome.
Great seeing you again.
Welcome.
And thank you so much for joining us for this episode of At Home with Emily, a podcast about creating a life you love. I wish you all the best as you start your new health journey this year. Be sure to follow us on social and also head to AroundTheOzarks.com and sign up for our daily newsletter. And if you're here on YouTube with us, just like and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We'll see you then.